for whoever we're facing. Like, he changes it every week. And one thing I do like really quick, I want to throw in there is he's a fan of the nickel blitz with the cornerback. He did it with Mike Hilton a lot in Cincinnati, and I love that because Kenny Moore, in the beginning of his career, that's what Kenny Moore was known for. He was awesome with those nickel blitzes. I don't know why we went away from it, but looks like that would be coming back. That's exciting. But yeah. I mean, I just don't know what he's doing, man. I mean,
he knows what he's doing. It's just style,
right? To run his scheme and really to run anyone's like you have to have some kind of talent. And I didn't mean to say he didn't know what he was doing, but it's just he didn't have much to work with. Like, we could sit here and we could blame Gus Bradley. We could blame. Remember when we let Matt Eberflus go? He didn't officially leave for the head coaching job yet. We kind of parted ways with him, and then he went. So the Colts kind of gave rid of Matt Eberflus in a way. They're like, no, we want something better. We got Gus Bradley. How much better was that? Yeah, I don't really need to answer that. But at the same time, he wasn't given as much talent. I thought Eberflus had a little more talent to work with than Gus did. And you look at Gus back in the Seattle days, I mean, the Legion of Boom, that's incredible, but that goes without saying. But look at the talent difference, man. I mean, like, I don't think Chris Ballard has provided Gus with enough talent. I don't think he's provided either side with enough talent, in certain aspects of the game, but especially defense. I mean, Chris Ballard is so into his guys. I feel like Chris Ballard's really controlling and didn't really give Gus a chance to do what he wanted to do. Or I feel like, Chris Ballard's a little controlling. I think he's very manipulative. I don't think he shows it in the press conference, but I think you could pick it apart a little bit with context. But back to Lou, kind of went on topic crazy there, but back to Lou, he likes to do everything. He likes to tailor his game plan. We've seen his defense do very well against some of the better quarterbacks. I mean, has his defense done perfect against those quarterbacks? No, you can't do perfect, but at the very least you could do is limit them. And he's flustered Patrick Mahomes a couple times. I mean, how many guys are able to do that? He's flustered Josh Allen. He knows how to fluster, and he knows how to kind of throw the better quarterbacks in the league off balance. Now, his ranks aren't very good, and last year especially wasn't good. He's not, his defense isn't good at getting sacks, which, I mean, we don't like that. We haven't been good at getting sacks since the Freeney and Mathis days. I mean, that's really been a drag ever since then. So that may continue. I mean, we do have some defensive line talent. I'll say that. I think we have some good guys in the defensive line. I think we just need the right guy to bring it out. Lou had Trey Hendrickson over in Cincy and Indy. Looks like Latu may be his guy. Young upcomer. I'm excited about that. And then, of course, he's got Buckner, Grove, Kwity. I think Kwity Paye is going to stay. I think he's going to be a very good fit under Lou. I think he's going to maybe not break out, but I think Kwitty's going to take the next step under Lou. But, this all circles back to Chris Ballard. Will Chris Ballard get Lou the proper talent to work with? We saw last year, man. Even though the numbers have never been good, last year that Bengals defense was horrible, and there's no way around it. I mean, every year it hasn't been great, but his defense has done well against the better quarterbacks in the league. But does that justify how bad his defense has been overall at times? I don't know. It's such a confusing hiring. It's such a confusing situation because he was getting head coaching looks. He was getting head coaching talks, a couple years ago. So now that he's with the Colts, I mean, like I said, he likes to call these different things, the cover twos, the cover threes, the blitzes. He's going to tailor his game plan to who he's playing. And that's a lot of turnover for the players. It's a lot of stuff for the players to learn. But I liked his press conference. I thought he was very confident. I liked what I heard. I liked the way he talked. But, we like the way everyone talks as soon as they show up. We liked Shane Steichen's confidence when he showed up. We liked how he held players accountable. That faded away. Is it that bad of a franchise? Is it that bad from the top that everyone you bring in, you're kind of like dragging them down away? Now, I'm not saying don't hold these guys accountable. Absolutely hold these guys accountable, like Gus Bradley letting the Giants score 45 points, 38 offensive points actually. But that's inexcusable no matter what. But at the end of the day, Lou, I think he's going to help us against the better quarterbacks in the league, and I think he's going to do a good job. But that's if Chris Ballard can get him proper players to use, proper players to work with. I mean, practice squad guys, it doesn't matter how good your scheme is. If you don't have guys that can run it and play against these better quarterbacks like Mahomes or Allen, practice squad guys aren't going to do it. So that's kind of my take on Lou. Like, how do I feel about the signing? I like it because he's shown the ability to fluster some of the best in the league. But at the same time, his defenses have been very lackluster in the numbers department. But the numbers kind of don't tell the full story sometimes because, like I said, his defense does play well.
Yeah.
I just don't. I think it's hard to understand him and his defense and what he's done with Cincy.
One thing people have to remember is that Cincinnati spends most of their money on offense. They have never spent a majority of their money on their defense. So Lou has always been playing with a lack of talent on that defense. I don't know that the situation is going to be any different in Indy. I do think that Indianapolis probably has an extra piece or two versus that Cincinnati defense. I agree with you when you say that the style change is going to be a positive. I think right off the bat, that's probably the best thing about this hire is that the style change is going to be a positive one. It should be for this team. Disguising of the defense is something that you just have to do these days against the best quarterbacks. Going out there and showing the quarterback what you're doing just will not work. Now, I will say it will work if you have the best players. But get this, just about any defense will work when you have the best players, right? If you have the best players for whatever style of defense that you're playing, and there's multiple styles of defense, then yeah, that defense is going to be successful no matter what coach you have. So
yeah, look at Gus Bradley with the Legion of Boom.
Exactly.
In Seattle.
Right? That's for Gus Bradley and his system to be successful, he would have to have like some of the top talent in the league across the board on his defense. It's proven, right? So when he had the great talent, what happened? They went to the Super Bowl. They were really good. When he didn't have the talent, well, he's not having top 10 defenses anymore. Now, with Lou, he's got experience. He's been to the Super Bowl before. He's got experience going up against the best quarterbacks in the league and the division. So those are positives as well. I think he's got a little more grit to him. He's not quite as much of a nice guy as Gus Bradley. So I do think he's going to hold those guys a little more accountable. He's going to have them a little bit more on edge. What I'm hoping is that Chris Ballard sticks to what he's good at. Like Chris Ballard is good at certain things. He's a good GM when it comes to certain things. Where I think he gets off track is when he starts trying to meddle in things that he's not good at. He needs to rely on other people when it comes to certain areas. One area I'd like to see him rely on Lou on is when it comes to cornerback and safety evaluation, player evaluation on that defensive side. I think Ballard's pretty good at bringing in, like, say, a linebacker or a defensive line type of player. But, there's some questions as to whether, he's really seeing the light when it comes to the DBs. Hopefully Lou can help him there. I think that's a big question about Chris Ballard. Is he letting Shane Steichen have the right influence when it comes to the picking and choosing of players? Is he going to let Lou have the right type of influence and input? Here's one a quandary, I guess might be the word for it, that I see with Chris Ballard. He's really good at contracts. Like, he's good. He's frugal. Like, he doesn't take on bad contracts. You see that when he deals with his players in-house. He's usually never doing a bad contract. And I wonder why he's not more active in free agency because of that. Now, maybe that holds him back because he's trying to be very frugal with the contracts, and that holds him back from getting some of these free agents. But there again, I would almost think that he'd be more aggressive in free agency because he is kind of a master of contracts at times and has pulled off some good trades and things like that. So Like the DeForest Buckner trade. It's like, where's more of that? Can we have some more of that, please? um, so yeah, I mean, I like the hire overall. I think it's a wise hire. You're pairing a more experienced defensive coach with a younger offensive coach. I think that goes well together. I feel like if you brought Dennis Allen in, those like then who's the coach kind of thing, because like Dennis Allen and Shane Steichen are kind of the same age, and Dennis Allen just came off of being a head coach himself. Shane Steichen's not a proven head coach himself either, so I thought that situation, even though I like Dennis Allen, I think he'd be a great defensive coordinator. I just thought that didn't really fit. I was interested in Wink Martindale because he's been successful in the pros and in college. He's had some pretty good defenses there. But there again, the Colts interviewed him for the head coaching job, so you're wondering maybe there was a little bit of a power struggle there. But yeah, I think Lou just fits in. Was he my number one choice? No, I'd say probably Wink Martindale if you would have asked me before. But hindsight, I'm okay with it. It's interesting. We'll see what happens. I think that he'll have more talent here on this defense than he had in Cincinnati to work with. And then if Chris Ballard can bring in some talent, more talent for him, then yeah, they've got a chance to do something good here, I think.